what's up my friends? So this is the first part of the workout series. I made it very easy for you to follow because I outlined in the description below how you can set up these workouts for yourself. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner, advanced, or professional. Now, a good thing about the TAURUS SelectaBell, as you know, is it's super easy to get the exact weight you need very quickly. So you've always got it on hand. Again, I've got 5 exercises for you. They're suitable for beginners, advanced, and professionals. And today's push day means everything we push away from ourselves. It includes chest as well as shoulders. Now, and this is the most important thing I want you to remember, safety first. In my training career over 20 years as a personal trainer and trainer for a lot of athletes, I was always concerned that my clients do not injure themselves. So please pay attention of what I'm saying of how to perform these exercises, because that's much more important than saying, look, I can push 25 kilos and after the 3rd rep you injured yourself, right? So first thing is perform the exercise correctly. Then you decrease weight, time under tension, the rep range and all this stuff. Always after form, right? So that's pretty simple to understand. I'm going to get the weight I want to use and I'll say, let's go. Alright guys, so we're starting with the push day. Push day means we're including chest and shoulder exercises. This one is the first exercise for your shoulder called the side raise. So what's important when we do the side raise? Important is how we grip the dumbbell. So once you grip the dumbbell, you twist your hand slightly to the back so your pinky finger is below your thumb at all times. Now what else you will notice is as I raise my hand to the top, that my hand is always in front of my chest. That's to stay in line with your shoulder blades, right? That's why we pull them a little bit to the front in the frontal plane. That's the correct way of doing it. The incorrect way would be using your upper body to use it as momentum to throw up those weights in the air. And that often happens, and you see that in the gym when people use weights which are too heavy and they're trying to get them up into the air. And they're not really using their muscle in the shoulder, they're using the momentum to get those weights in the air. Now the next one is obviously one of the most popular ones, the Dumbbell Benchpress. The way you would do that at home is you put them onto your thigh, you roll back onto the floor because the floor is the closest we can get to a bench, and then you push them up into the air. Make sure that you brace your core and go as low as you can so your elbows actually touch the floor and then you push it back up. The problem with this exercise though is that the range of motion is sort of limited, but at the same time it's a safe way of doing it because if the weights are heavy, what you could do as you touch the floor now, if you couldn't bring them back up, you could just drop them down to the floor and nothing happens. But here's an alternative way of how you can do that at home. For example, you could use a yoga block or a cushion or something which is quite dense, and you can put it into a shape that will help you support your back. So what you will do is you put it on the floor, you make sure you get into position, and then you grab your weights. So again, you put them onto your thigh, you engage your core, you roll back onto the supported cushion, and then you start pushing it up into the air. What you can see here now also is that the range of motion has increased because my elbows will go lower than before. Before they were limited because of the floor, and now we can let them down a little bit lower. You could now argue that it is a bit of an incline bench press, and yes, that is the case because we've got an elevation maybe of 5 to 10 degrees, but it isn't as prominent as a proper incline bench press. So therefore, that's the alternative of how I would perform this exercise at home. So the next exercise is one of, you say, the big 4 or one of the really important exercises, and that is the overhead press, the overhead dumbbell press. So what's important here? Important is that we keep our elbows always, again, in line of your shoulder blades. So you will see here, so not on the side, you pull them a little bit to the front, and then you start pressing the weight over your head. So that's the correct way of doing it. Your elbows are slightly in front of your body to ensure your rotator cuff is safe by performing this exercise. And make sure you've got a big range of motion, so you bring those weights all the way down to your shoulder and push them all the way up over your head. They don't have to touch over your head. Sometimes you see that happens mostly when the weights are bigger that they touch. Now, what you shouldn't be doing, as you can see here, is pushing the weights behind your head. You don't want to push them behind your head. They should just be going over your head. That's why it's called overhead press and not over behind your head press, right? So again, making sure to keep your shoulder blades and your rotator cuffs aligned and safe. Bring those shoulders to the front and push it up. Now, the next one is called the UCV Raise, the upper chest V raise. Now, what you can see, and that's why we call it upper V, right? That's the one we're trying to train. As you can see here, I'm touching my chest. And that's also something I always say when you're performing an exercise just on one side and you really want to see which muscle is targeted, then you can use your other hand to sort of touch that area and see what is really working, as you can see here. And you can really feel that muscle working, right? It's your upper chest in that case. What you do is you grab that weight and you draw an imaginal line, a diagonal in front of your body as you raise that weight to the top. Make sure that you lock in your elbow, just like you can see here, and then you raise it to the top. Don't let your elbow, it's not a bicep curl, it's like a straight arm diagonal overhead raise. So the next one is called the dumbbell power clean over. So you grab it with both hands and then you push it up onto one shoulder, press it over to the other and bring it back down to the floor. Now, obviously this is not a just, so to say, push day exercise. It's like a full body exercise. And I want to give you this kind of option for a more metabolic approach, because your heart rate is going to go up doing this. And we have that little push in the shoulder as well as, back and legs. Everything is involved. So it's like a full body exercise focusing on a push over your head. And this one gets you really going. And it's one of my favorite exercises. You can really do this to get your heart rate up by performing 15 to 20 repetitions of this. So there you go.